A few weeks ago, I was happily sulking by my swimming pool. What do you want?
I just came by to see if there's something I can help you with.
I'm retired.
How has it been 5 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 came out? Even today, this game still charts. It's so popular, it's practically airborne, and it's currently one of the best-selling video games of all time. And not surprisingly, a lot has changed in the last 5 years, but what about this game makes it so enduring? What about it resonates with people so much? And ever since Grand Theft Auto 3, the GTA games have taken on this identity as these controversial blockbusters, with each release becoming this large event, and many waiting to see just how the media would find a way to demonize some aspect of these games. A lot of people see the GTA games as these mindless crime simulators where you constantly are killing hookers and watch a bunch of polygons have sex, but anyone who's actually played these games know that in reality they usually tell a really good story with memorable characters and a lot of fun moments.
How about you suck my cock? Huh?
The parts of GTA where you're just senselessly killing people are just as important as seeing what's going to happen next in the story. That's always been the charm. Lots of games struggle to balance their gameplay with their narrative and characters, and that's what makes GTA special. The first GTA game I played was San Andreas, and that game blew me away with its story and characters. And just how huge the game was just insane to me. I would play it religiously, and what really captured me was its cohesive style. It perfectly replicated that G-Funk mixed with the 90s hood movie charm. And it always knew when to take itself seriously and have some fun, a perfect reflection of the games as a whole.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s.
Now around the time GTA 5 came out, I had just gone around to playing Grand Theft Auto 4 for the first time, and while I enjoyed it, I thought the driving was really clunky. There were some aspects to it that felt pretty archaic, like having to start entire missions all over again if you died, too much emphasis on realism that was all too common in video games in 2008, and so many tasks that just weren't fun to me. Again, I still thought it had its moments, but it didn't feel like the best game of all time I was looking for, and it sure as hell didn't give me that feeling of excitement that San Andreas did. And once GTA 5 came out, it was pretty much all over, and it's no surprise why. The driving in GTA 5 was more arcadey and fun, the shooting mechanics were more streamlined, everything went from this drab butte look to a sandbox that was way more dynamic and colorful. And overall, the style and humor that made GTA more than just a crime simulator.
Oh, better yet, maybe Tanisha will call your dog ass if she ever stop fucking with that brain surgeon, the lawyer she fucking with, nigga.
Now don't think this to mean I hate GTA 4, I later revisited it and learned to appreciate that game, but GTA 5 was a game I played pretty much every day for like a year. It's a game I still put a lot of hours into from time to time. It's my go-to goofing game, something where I could sort of turn my brain off and just cause mass carnage or come up with stupid fun things to do. GTA 5 seemed so huge and new and shiny, I had no idea how my Xbox wasn't bursting into flames just trying to get it to run. It really did seem like a technical marvel, the same way Rare was able to get a game like Conker's Bad Fur Day working on the Nintendo 64. It seemed borderline miraculous. 5 years later, the paint is starting to chip, so to speak, but it looks really good still. One of my favorite things to do is just fly over the city at night and just admire all the lights. Oh baby. Oh baby. Oh baby. This game is still one of the greatest escapes from real life ever. It commits theft on all your relationships, your health and well-being, and it beats it like an in-game hooker until all you do is play GTA 5 all day. And the only time you go outside is to walk next door to that Walgreens to buy more soda and junk food for your filthy Junko body. It took me a few months to beat this game for the first time, and it took even longer to feel like I saw a good majority of what it had to offer. There's still some areas in this game where I'm like, wait a minute, I've never seen this place before. Narratively speaking, the inclusion of 3 different main protagonists ended up being both Grand Theft Auto 5's greatest strength and weakness. This was done with the purpose of being able to jump around the map quickly without discouraging exploration, something that might have gotten lost had a basic fast travel mechanic been introduced. It keeps things fresh, and it was neat to give each of these characters different abilities as well, as it mixes things up a bit while you're playing without altering things too drastically. And while I like these characters a lot, I felt like Grand Theft Auto 5's story spent too much time meandering in the wrong areas, and as a result it felt like these characters were fighting for screen time, which is disappointing considering how much I really enjoyed them.
Did you kill him?
What kind of fucking animal do you take me for? No, I didn't kill him.
Oh, fuck.
But I did kidnap his wife.
Oh, no. Oh,
Even for
shit.
a game as long as this one, it was so jarring to reach the end credits because of how much I felt was missing from the story in general. Certain no-brainer story beats seemed to be absent, as is some much-needed characterization, primarily for Franklin. I always felt like his character was gimped a little bit. With Michael and Trevor, their background and motivations are so interwoven and tied together that they sort of organically play off each other well enough. What we get from them is rather sufficient.
I got a fucking family.
Yeah, well, I got nothing. No one gives a fuck about me.
In contrast, we only get these small glimpses of Franklin's life, and right when it seems like we're just about to explore his environment more, he's introduced to Michael, and they awkwardly start this mentor-apprentice relationship. Once Trevor gets thrown in the mix, I felt like there just wasn't enough of these characters working off each other.
Fucking incredible, you mother.
Hey!
What?
Enough! You got me out here. You wrote me into your crazy world of bullshit. If it was lies, new age shit, and arguments about how good life used to be, I could have stayed my ass in Los Santos.
Hello, Franklin.
What's up?
You see, all these characters are really enjoyable, and they work well separately, but I never got a real sense of camaraderie between them. Nothing where it felt like them against the world. There are moments and glimpses, but nothing concrete, which is weird considering this is the direction I thought the story was going to go. Michael is disillusioned with his family, Franklin is fed up with the toxic lifestyle of the hood, and Trevor, despite being crazy, you can also see he's looking for a bit more. He wants to relive the thrill of the glory days, a mutual motivation for Michael, while Franklin just wants some direction.
So you have the lifestyle of the miserable rich, the poor and dangerous, and the insane, all coming together.
We get good moments between them, but I never thought there was enough binding them together. And this is where a common complaint for the game's story comes into place. Too much time for this game is spent doing missions for the FIB, GTA's equivalent of, you guessed it, the FBI. Too much time is spent doing these missions, the same recycled one last score, this is the big one, then we're out, set up each time. The missions are really fun, but from a narrative standpoint, they're completely unsatisfying, and it stops the story dead in its tracks. Eventually, after getting fucked over again and again, the main three decide enough is enough, and they band together to get revenge, but it's all done so awkwardly. Every typical story beat isn't really earned, they just happen. You get the moment where they all celebrate, but we haven't seen enough of these guys together to really feel accomplished with them. When they get deceived and start pointing fingers at each other, it doesn't feel genuine or tragic. And when they finally do come back together to settle the score, it doesn't feel satisfying. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 is already a long game, and I attribute its shortcomings to the fact that they already had so many elements to juggle that it was pretty impressive that they were able to execute it as well as they did. It's no surprise that the story lost a bit of focus along the way, but one simple change that could have really improved the story would have been a clear, mutual antagonist. These characters aren't short of their enemies, but the game doesn't dedicate enough screen time to any of them for them to be considered a viable antagonist. Now let's take a quick look back at Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It shares the same setting as GTA 5, but what San Andreas has that 5 doesn't is Officer Tenpenny.
Welcome home, Carl. Glad to be back. You haven't forgotten about us, have you, boy?
He's corrupt, he's an asshole, and he gets in the way of the player at almost every turn. He's a clear opposing force that you just want to kill by the end of the game, and he's voiced by Samuel Jackson. He's absolutely perfect. GTA 5 doesn't really have a character like this. The supposed villains of this game aren't really memorable or threatening at all. I remember when the game was first coming out and I saw this promotional image of this female police officer and I immediately thought she was going to be the antagonist. It would have been perfect, and especially would have indirectly answered all those people who accused GTA of being misogynistic. Let me pitch this character and why she would be so perfect. Make her be the Los Santos police chief or some sort of active higher-up authority. Rather than simply copying and pasting Tenpenny, make her be the most upstanding cop ever, morally incorruptible and dedicated to ridding the city of crime. It's almost too perfect, and it's just the kind of thing Michael, Trevor, and Franklin would hate. Having a female antagonist, one that is just trying to do the right thing, is the perfect counter to these three misogynistic criminals, leaving them emasculated and their egos bruised. The girl who puts a stop to the boys' fun, so to speak.
Guess what, big brother? I'm telling Mom!
And from a gameplay standpoint, I also feel like some opportunities were missed with Franklin, Michael, and Trevor as well. When I first heard that you'd be able to switch between them, I thought this would come into play more during missions and make things a little more tactical. There are moments like this, but they're very on rails, and even then, there aren't enough of them. Again, this hurts the game narratively because separately I enjoy these characters. They're one of my favorite fictional trios, somewhere around here. Despite these shortcomings, it wasn't anything too damaging. I still found GTA 5's plot enjoyable, and I had a lot of fun with its single player. Besides, any problems I had with the game's story could easily be remedied with the inevitable inclusion of some single-player DLC. Oh, wait. We never got any. It's time we address the peanut lover in the room, GTA Online. My first time connecting to a game, I immediately got ran over by a tank with a kid screaming at me in Spanish. And that pretty much aptly sums up my experience with GTA Online. I did have some fun with it for some time, but eventually it's hard not to realize how much of a grind fest this thing is. And honestly, when I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, I really just want to unwind and be left alone. I don't like planning things with other people or nothing. Finding out that all the single-player DLC was repurposed for multiplayer just made me hate GTA Online even more.
Do you know how much time I spent, along with like a million other people, trying to figure out what that mural on top of Mount Chiliad meant? hoping that maybe that would lead to finding the jetpack in GTA 5, only for it to be released as DLC for GTA Online. I get that's a false expectation, but come on. Rockstar isn't even updating the single player anymore. Any new content is exclusively for GTA Online now. Why did Rockstar have to go out of their way to alienate such a large part of their fan base? The obvious answer is already apparent to pretty much anyone who played this game. Those stupid shark cards that help you skip the grind was too much of a cash cow, and GTA Online is toxically popular. There was a time when you couldn't even go on the front page of YouTube without getting all these stupid GTA Online videos with their stupid thumbnails and that stupid rainbow gradient. Why couldn't they just give us the best of both worlds? Make it a single player DLC and then put all the new weapons and equipment in GTA Online. I guess we'll never actually know why things had to be this way because Rockstar has been kinda radio silent about it. They did say that it sorta just organically fell through, but I find that hard to believe. Even all the voice actors for the main characters pretty much said, yeah, we don't know what's happening. It's sad because, like I said, I really enjoyed these characters and I want to see more of them in the forefront in this setting so bad. We're never going to get that, and I highly doubt GTA 6 is going to be a direct sequel. If anything, these characters at best are probably going to get some lame cameo or mention. Maybe even be put on a sacrificial slab for a new character like they did with Johnny from GTA 4. I really hope the next Grand Theft Auto gets released as 2 games or something, because honestly I don't have any interest in GTA Online or the Red Dead Online or anything like that. It's clear that the whales that buy all the shark cards for GTA Online are in a whole different player base entirely from the people who play the single player, and it's a shame that those guys got priority. Because, you know, once those servers finally shut down one day, it's going to really be the single player that makes up this game's legacy. And even after 5 years later, that's really what this is for me. A game with some really enjoyable characters that felt cutting edge and catered to the part of me that just wants to relax and start shooting people and blowing shit up. It's what GTA has always kind of been about. Beyond that, while I think some of its social commentary is a little too not subtle at all, its portrayal of modern America and its critique of many of its superficial and shallow aspects were really well done. Social media, government agencies, even though it was only 5 years ago, a lot of the stuff here is more prevalent today. I'd say GTA 5 acts as a nice snapshot of the time it was released, one that still resonates heavily in 2018. In my opinion, this game has the potential to be timeless.
Nigga.